Are you waking up with stiff joints and persistent pain that you've just accepted as part of getting older? What if I told you that the foods on your plate might be the hidden culprits behind your suffering? The uncomfortable truth is that your daily diet could be silently destroying your health, feeding inflammation, and accelerating the aging process in ways you never imagined. Did you know that 68% of adults over 50 experience chronic pain, yet many are completely unaware that what they're eating is making it dramatically worse? Have you ever wondered why some people in their 70s and 80s move with the agility of someone decades younger, while others can barely climb a flight of stairs without wincing in pain? Today, I'm going to reveal the shocking connection between 3 common foods and the persistent pain that's robbing you of your vitality, independence, and joy. These 3 everyday items might be sitting in your kitchen right now, silently sabotaging your health with every bite. But more importantly, I'm going to show you exactly how to eliminate them from your life and replace them with delicious alternatives that will help you reclaim the active, pain-free lifestyle you deserve. This isn't just another health tip. This is potentially life-changing information that could transform how you experience your golden years. Imagine waking up without that familiar morning stiffness, having enough energy to play with your grandchildren without having to pay for it later, and rediscovering the freedom of movement you thought was lost forever. Are you ready to discover what's really causing your pain and take back control of your health? Let's dive in. Before we identify the 3 most destructive foods that are likely causing your pain, let's address a dangerous myth that's been accepted for far too long: that pain and aging go hand in hand. This simply isn't true, and accepting this falsehood is one of the biggest health mistakes you can make. According to research published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society, chronic inflammation, not age itself, is the primary driver of joint pain, muscle soreness, and decreased mobility in adults over 50. This inflammation isn't random or inevitable. It's directly triggered by specific foods in your diet. Dr. Elizabeth Harper, a leading rheumatologist with over 30 years of clinical experience, puts it bluntly: what we're seeing is essentially an epidemic of diet-induced inflammation, particularly in the over 50 population. The standard Western diet is systematically destroying joint health, and most people don't make the connection until the damage is severe. Does this sound familiar? Think about your own experience. Remember when you could garden for hours, take long walks, or play with your children or grandchildren without paying for it the next day? What changed wasn't just your age. It was the cumulative effect of decades of consuming inflammatory foods that have quietly damaged your joints, disrupted your gut health, and created a state of chronic inflammation throughout your body. Take Martha, for instance. At 67, she came to our health center barely able to climb the 3 steps to the entrance without assistance. "I've tried everything," she told me. "Pain medications, physical therapy, even expensive supplements. Nothing seems to work." Martha, like millions of others, had resigned herself to a future of increasing pain and decreased mobility. She believed this was simply her fate as she aged. 6 weeks later, after eliminating just these 3 inflammatory foods from her diet, Martha walked into our center unaided, with a smile I hadn't seen before. "I can't believe the difference," she said. "I went dancing with my husband last weekend. Something we haven't done in over a decade." Stories like Martha's aren't rare exceptions. They represent the transformation that's possible when you identify and eliminate the true sources of inflammation from your diet. And the best part, this transformation doesn't require expensive medications, painful injections, or risky surgeries. It starts with the simple act of removing 3 common foods from your diet. Have you ever noticed how your pain seems to fluctuate? from day to day, or even throughout the day. Have you ever wondered why the pain medications that help some people do nothing for you? The answer lies in what you're eating, and it's time to uncover the truth. Before I reveal these 3 destructive foods, I need to emphasize something critical. The longer you continue consuming these inflammatory foods, the more permanent damage you're causing to your body. This isn't just about managing pain today, it's about preventing disability tomorrow. A 2023 study published in the Journal of Nutrition and Aging found that adults over 50 who consumed high levels of inflammatory foods experienced a 73% faster decline in mobility and independence compared to those with anti-inflammatory diets. Think about that. Your food choices today are actively determining your mobility and independence 5, 10, even 20 years from now. For Karen, a 58-year-old elementary school teacher, this reality hit hard. I watched my mother spend the last 15 years of her life in constant pain, eventually becoming completely dependent on others for basic daily activities, she shared. I always assumed it was genetic, that I was destined for the same fate. I had no idea her diet, and mine, was the real culprit. After eliminating the 3 foods I'm about to share with you, Karen's persistent knee pain diminished within weeks. 6 months later, she completed a 5K walk for charity, something she would have considered impossible before. Here's the urgent truth. Every day you continue consuming these inflammatory foods, you're actively participating in damaging your joints, accelerating the aging process, and setting yourself up for increasing pain and decreased mobility. But there's good news too. Your body has a remarkable ability to heal when you stop the continuous assault of inflammatory foods. Are you ready to discover what these foods are? Are you prepared to make the simple changes that could transform your health and reclaim your active lifestyle? Let's get started with the first and perhaps most surprising offender. Look around your kitchen, your pantry, your refrigerator. How many packaged, boxed, or pre-prepared items do you see? Those colorful packages with their convenient preparation and long shelf lives are hiding a painful secret. They're systematically destroying your health and fueling the fire of inflammation throughout your body. Processed foods are perhaps the most insidious contributor to pain and inflammation after 50, and their impact is devastatingly comprehensive. These products, from breakfast cereals and granola bars to frozen dinners and snack foods, are loaded with artificial preservatives, chemical flavor enhancers, and refined oils that your body recognizes as foreign invaders. When you consume these products, your immune system launches an inflammatory response, similar to how it would react to an infection. The difference? While an infection eventually clears, allowing inflammation to subside, processed foods create a constant state of low-grade inflammation that never gets a chance to resolve. Dr. Michael Sinclair, a gastroenterologist specializing in inflammatory conditions, explains it this way. Processed foods contain dozens of additives that weren't part of the human diet until very recently, evolutionarily speaking. Your body hasn't adapted to recognize these compounds as food, so it responds with inflammation, essentially attacking itself in an attempt to remove the perceived threat. The science confirms this alarming reality. A 2022 study published in the Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that participants who consumed the highest amounts of ultra-processed foods had significantly elevated levels of inflammatory markers in their blood, including C-reactive protein, CRP, and interleukin-6, IL-6, both directly associated with joint pain and tissue damage. Think about James, a 63-year-old retired accountant who came to us with debilitating back pain that had persisted for years, despite multiple treatments. "I've tried everything," he told me, pain medications, physical therapy, even steroid injections. Nothing provides more than temporary relief. A review of James's diet revealed a heavy reliance on processed convenience foods, frozen breakfast sandwiches, lunch meats, microwave dinners, and packaged snacks. "I live alone, and cooking just for myself seems like too much effort," he explained. After just 30 days of eliminating processed foods and replacing them with simple, whole food alternatives, James reported a 60% reduction in his daily pain levels. 3 months later, he was back to golfing, a passion he'd abandoned years earlier when the pain became too severe. Here's what makes processed foods particularly destructive to your health after 50. 1. They contain artificial preservatives that disrupt your gut microbiome, creating a condition called dysbiosis that increases system-wide inflammation and directly impacts joint health. 2. They're loaded with refined oils that actively promote inflammatory pathways in your body. 3. They contain excitotoxins like MSG, often disguised under names like natural flavors, that can heighten pain sensitivity and exacerbate existing discomfort. 4. They typically include high amounts of refined carbohydrates that spike blood sugar, triggering inflammatory responses and contributing to metabolic dysfunction. 5. They lack the natural anti-inflammatory compounds found in whole foods that would normally help counteract inflammation. The solution is simple, though it requires commitment. Replace processed foods with whole, natural alternatives. Instead of breakfast cereal, enjoy organic eggs with vegetables. Rather than sandwich meats, opt for fresh-cooked chicken or wild-caught salmon. In place of packaged snacks, choose nuts, seeds, and fresh fruits. I know what you might be thinking, but processed foods are so convenient. I don't have time to prepare whole foods for every meal. I understand this concern. Convenience is valuable, especially as we age. But I ask you to consider this. What could be more inconvenient than chronic pain? What could be more time-consuming than doctor's appointments, physical therapy sessions, and days spent unable to do the activities you love because of preventable pain? Sarah, a 72-year-old grandmother of 5, put it perfectly after eliminating processed foods from her diet and experiencing remarkable relief from her arthritis pain. "I used to think I didn't have time to cook fresh meals. Now I realize I didn't have time to be in pain. The 20 extra minutes I spend preparing real food pays me back tenfold in pain-free hours." Are you ready to experience this transformation yourself? I challenge you to eliminate all processed foods from your diet for just 7 days. Pay attention to how your body responds, particularly to your pain levels, energy, and overall well-being. After just 1 week, many people report noticeable improvements in joint comfort and mobility, but processed foods are just the beginning. Let's move on to the second major contributor to inflammation and pain after 50, one that many health foods contain in abundance. It hides in your morning coffee, your healthy yogurt, your favorite sauce, and even in foods marketed as low-fat alternatives. Refined sugar may taste sweet, but it delivers a bitter blow to your health, especially after 50. Many people are shocked to discover that sugar, even in so-called moderate amounts, can be a primary driver of joint pain, muscle stiffness, and accelerated aging. The connection between sugar consumption and pain is so strong that many rheumatologists now recommend sugar elimination as a first-line approach for patients with inflammatory conditions like arthritis. Why is sugar so destructive to your health and comfort? The answer lies in how it impacts your body at the cellular level. When you consume refined sugar, your blood glucose levels spike rapidly. This triggers a cascade of inflammatory responses. Your body releases insulin to manage the glucose surge, stress hormones increase, and pro-inflammatory cytokines are produced in higher quantities. These cytokines directly contribute to joint pain, tissue damage, and decreased mobility. Even more concerning, sugar molecules attach themselves to proteins in your body through a process called glycation, forming what scientists call advanced glycation end products, AGEs. These AGEs directly damage collagen, the essential protein that keeps your joints flexible and your skin youthful. Dr. Rachel Winters, an endocrinologist specializing in metabolic health, explains, AGEs don't just contribute to skin wrinkling and sagging, they also damage the collagen in your joint cartilage, making it more brittle and prone to injury. This process accelerates naturally with age, but sugar consumption speeds it up dramatically. The science is clear. A groundbreaking study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that participants who consumed the highest amounts of added sugar experienced 87% more joint pain and reported significantly lower quality of life scores compared to those with the lowest sugar intake. Consider Robert's story. At 61, this former marathon runner could barely walk around the block without experiencing knee pain so severe he had to stop and rest. My orthopedist told me I needed knee replacement surgery, he shared. He said my joint cartilage was severely damaged and there was nothing else to be done. Before committing to surgery, Robert decided to try eliminating refined sugar from his diet. The results were nothing short of remarkable. Within 3 weeks, his pain decreased by approximately 40%. After 3 months, he was walking 2 miles daily without discomfort. 6 months later, a follow-up examination showed improved joint space and reduced inflammation without surgery or medications. My doctor couldn't believe it, Robert told me. He kept checking my chart to make sure he had the right patient. He said he'd never seen joint improvement like that without surgical intervention. Titiq. What makes sugar particularly dangerous is its ubiquity in the modern diet, even in foods you might consider healthy. That fruit-flavored yogurt marketed for bone health, it likely contains more sugar than a serving of ice cream. The granola you've chosen as a healthy breakfast option, it may contain more sugar per serving than a chocolate chip cookie. Even more deceptively, sugar hides behind dozens of different names on ingredient labels: high fructose corn syrup, dextrose, maltose, sucrose, rice syrup, barley malt, and many more. Food manufacturers deliberately use multiple types of sugar so they can list them separately, pushing them further down the ingredient list and disguising the true total amount. The impact of sugar on your health after 50 extends beyond joint pain. Research has linked high sugar consumption to 1. Accelerated cognitive decline and increased risk of dementia. 2. Greater incidence of osteoporosis and bone fractures. 3. Reduced muscle mass and decreased strength. 4. Impaired healing and recovery from injury. 5. Increased visceral fat, the dangerous fat around your organs. 6. Disrupted sleep patterns and decreased sleep quality. Perhaps most relevant to our discussion today, sugar feeds the pain cycle. When you're in pain, your body produces stress hormones like cortisol. These hormones increase cravings for quick energy, specifically sugar. Consuming sugar temporarily boosts your energy and even triggers the release of pain-masking endorphins, but then causes an inflammatory surge that ultimately makes your pain worse. This creates a vicious cycle that's difficult to break without eliminating sugar entirely. Maria, a 58-year-old office manager with fibromyalgia, experienced this cycle firsthand. I was constantly exhausted and in pain, so I relied on sugary coffees and snacks to get through the day, she explained. I never connected those foods to my symptoms until my doctor suggested I try eliminating sugar completely. The first few days were challenging as Maria's body adjusted, but by the end of the first week, she noticed a significant reduction in her pain levels and a surprising increase in her natural energy. It was like a fog lifted, she said. Not only was I in less pain, but my thinking was clearer, my mood was better, and I didn't have the energy crashes I'd been experiencing for years. Are you ready to experience this transformation yourself? I challenge you to eliminate all refined sugar from your diet for just 7 days. This means checking labels carefully and avoiding anything with added sugars of any kind. Instead, satisfy your sweet tooth with whole fruits, which contain fiber that slows sugar absorption and natural compounds that fight inflammation. After 1 week without refined sugar, pay close attention to your pain levels, energy, mental clarity, and overall well-being. Many people report noticeable improvements within days, a powerful testament to how quickly your body can begin recovering when you remove this inflammatory trigger. But there's still one more major contributor to inflammation and pain that we need to address, one that's hiding in plain sight in most kitchens. They're in your salad dressings, cooking sprays, margarine, and nearly every processed food on supermarket shelves. Refined vegetable oils, including soybean, corn, canola, cottonseed, and safflower oils, may be among the most destructive components of the modern diet, particularly for adults over 50. Yet these oils are often marketed as heart-healthy alternatives to traditional fats, creating a dangerous misconception that has contributed to unprecedented levels of chronic inflammation and pain. Why are these oils so problematic? The answer lies in their fatty acid composition and the extensive processing they undergo before reaching your table. Refined vegetable oils are extremely high in omega-6 fatty acids. While omega-6s are essential in small amounts, the modern diet provides them in quantities 15 to 20 times higher than what's optimal. This creates a severe imbalance with omega-3 fatty acids, which have anti-inflammatory properties. Dr. Jonathan Coleman, a lipid researcher and nutritional biochemist, explains the ideal ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acids is approximately 4.1. Today, most Americans consume these fats in a ratio of 20.1 or even higher. This imbalance creates a biochemical environment that strongly promotes inflammation, particularly in joint tissues. The scientific evidence is compelling. A landmark study published in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry found that participants who consumed the highest amounts of refined vegetable oils showed significantly elevated levels of inflammatory markers and reported 42% more joint pain than those with the lowest consumption. But the problem extends beyond just the omega imbalance. The manufacturing process for these oils involves high heat, pressure, and chemical solvents that fundamentally alter the fatty acids, creating compounds that directly trigger inflammatory responses in the body. These oils are then often partially hydrogenated to increase shelf life, creating trans fats, which have been definitively linked to increased inflammation and chronic disease, even in small amounts. While many food manufacturers have reduced obvious trans fats due to labeling requirements, the refined oils themselves remain problematic. Consider Thomas's experience. At 65, this retired teacher had been managing psoriatic arthritis for over a decade with increasingly powerful medications. The pain was getting worse despite the medications, and the side effects were becoming concerning, he shared. My rheumatologist kept increasing the dosages, but we weren't seeing improvements. After learning about the inflammatory nature of refined oils, Thomas eliminated them from his diet and replaced them with healthy alternatives like extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, and small amounts of grass-fed butter. The results were remarkable. Within 2 months, his inflammatory markers decreased significantly and his pain levels improved to the point where his rheumatologist was able to reduce his medication dosage. I had no idea that the oils I was using, the very ones that were marketed as healthy choices, were contributing to my inflammation, Thomas told me. Making this one change has transformed my quality of life. What makes refined vegetable Oils, particularly insidious, is their prevalence in the food supply. They're the foundation of most commercial salad dressings, mayonnaise, and condiments. They're used in virtually all restaurant cooking and food manufacturing. They're even present in many health foods, like protein bars, veggie chips, and plant-based meat alternatives. Their impact on your health after 50 is comprehensive and concerning. 1. They promote the production of pro-inflammatory eicosanoids, which directly increase pain and tissue damage in joints. 2. They create oxidative stress in cell membranes, accelerating aging and impairing cellular function. 3. They can disrupt hormone production and regulation, affecting everything from sleep quality to stress response. 4. They contribute to mitochondrial dysfunction, reducing energy production at the cellular level and contributing to fatigue. 5. They can damage the intestinal lining, leading to increased permeability, known as leaky gut, that allows inflammatory compounds to enter the bloodstream. For Eleanor, a 70-year-old with rheumatoid arthritis, eliminating refined oils led to improvements her medications alone had never achieved. I've been on multiple medications for years, including biologics that suppress my immune system, she explained. They helped somewhat, but I still experienced painful flares regularly. After learning about the inflammatory nature of refined oils, Eleanor committed to eliminating them completely. She replaced her cooking oils with extra virgin olive oil and avocado oil, avoided all processed foods containing refined oils, and began making her own salad dressings with olive oil and anti-inflammatory herbs. Within a month, I experienced a level of relief I hadn't known in years, she shared. 6 months later, my rheumatologist was shocked at my progress. My inflammatory markers had decreased so significantly that we were able to reduce my medication dosage for the first time in over a decade. Are you ready to experience this transformation? I challenge you to eliminate all refined vegetable oils from your diet for just 7 days. This means avoiding all processed foods, which typically contain these oils, and using only healthy fats like extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil, and small amounts of grass-fed butter or ghee. Pay close attention to how your body responds, particularly to your pain levels, energy, and overall well-being. Many people report noticeable improvements in joint comfort and mobility within days of making this simple change. Now that you understand the 3 most destructive foods that are likely contributing to your pain and inflammation, I want to offer you a simple but powerful challenge. Eliminate all 3 of these inflammatory foods from your diet for just 7 days. I'm not asking for a lifetime commitment right now, just 7 days to prove to yourself how dramatically these foods have been affecting your health and comfort. Here's what the challenge entails. For the next 7 days, 1. Eliminate all processed and packaged foods. Focus on whole, single-ingredient foods like fresh vegetables, fruits, quality proteins, nuts, seeds, and healthy fats. 2. Remove all refined sugar from your diet. This includes obvious sources like desserts and sodas, but also hidden sources in condiments, sauces, and health foods. Satisfy your sweet tooth with whole fruits instead. 3. Replace all refined vegetable oils with healthy alternatives like extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil, and small amounts of grass-fed butter or ghee. This challenge is simple but powerful. By removing these 3 major sources of inflammation simultaneously, you're giving your body the opportunity to begin healing processes that may have been suppressed for years or even decades. The results can be remarkable. Barbara, a 68-year-old who had been dealing with osteoarthritis for over 15 years, was initially skeptical. I've tried so many things over the years, medications, supplements, physical therapy, she told me. Nothing has made a significant difference. I can't imagine that changing my diet at this point would help. Nevertheless, Barbara agreed to try the 7-day challenge. Her experience mirrors what I've seen with hundreds of others who've taken this step. The first 3 days were challenging, as my body adjusted, but by day 5, I noticed something extraordinary. I woke up without the morning stiffness I'd experienced for as long as I could remember. By the end of the week, I was moving more easily than I had in years. Barbara was so impressed with her results that she's continued with this way of eating for over 2 years now. My latest x-rays showed something my doctor said he rarely sees in patients my age: improved joint spacing and reduced inflammation, she shared. He asked what I was doing differently, and when I told him about eliminating these 3 food groups, he actually took notes to share with other patients. During your 7-day challenge, I recommend keeping a simple journal to track your experiences. Note your pain levels, energy, sleep quality, and any other changes you observe. This journal will become powerful evidence of how these foods have been affecting your health and will help motivate you to maintain these changes beyond the initial week. Here are some practical tips to help you succeed with the challenge. For eliminating processed foods, shop the perimeter of the grocery store, where whole foods are typically located. Prepare simple meals using basic ingredients like vegetables, quality proteins, and healthy fats. Make extra portions when cooking so you have healthy leftovers for busy days. Keep whole food snacks readily available. Hard-boiled eggs, nuts, cut vegetables, and berries are all excellent options. For eliminating refined sugar, read labels carefully. Sugar hides under many different names. Use spices like cinnamon, vanilla, and nutmeg to add sweetness without sugar. Keep fresh fruit on hand for sweet cravings. Be aware that sugar withdrawal can cause temporary headaches and fatigue. Stay hydrated and rest as needed. For eliminating refined vegetable oils, check ingredient lists on all packaged foods. If they contain soybean, corn, canola, cottonseed, or safflower oils, choose alternatives. Make your own simple salad dressings with olive oil, vinegar, and herbs. When dining out, ask what oils are used in cooking and request dry preparation or olive oil when possible. Use olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil, or grass-fed. Butter for all home cooking. Remember, this is just a 7-day challenge to prove to yourself how much better you can feel. There's no need to feel overwhelmed about making permanent changes yet. Simply focus on these 7 days and observe how your body responds. While eliminating inflammatory foods is crucial, equally important is replacing them with nourishing alternatives that actively support joint health, reduce inflammation, and promote overall vitality. This isn't just about taking things away. It's about adding delicious, healing foods that will help your body recover and thrive. Here are the top replacements for each inflammatory food category. Instead of processed foods, enjoy fresh vegetables in abundant variety. Aim for at least 5 to 7 servings daily. Quality proteins like wild-caught fish, pasture-raised eggs, and grass-fed meats, legumes like lentils and beans, prepared properly to maximize digestibility, whole fruits, particularly berries, which are rich in anti-inflammatory compounds, herbs and spices, which contain some of the most powerful anti-inflammatory compounds available. Instead of refined sugar, enjoy whole fruits, which provide natural sweetness along with fiber and antioxidants. Small amounts of raw honey or pure maple syrup for occasional treats. Sweet vegetables like carrots, beets, and sweet potatoes. Spices like cinnamon, which can help stabilize blood sugar while adding sweetness. Instead of refined vegetable oils, use extra virgin olive oil for cold applications and low-heat cooking. Avocado oil for higher heat. Cooking. Coconut oil for baking and certain culinary applications. Small amounts of grass-fed butter or ghee for cooking and flavor. By focusing on these nourishing replacements, you're not just removing inflammatory triggers, you're actively providing your body with the compounds it needs to repair damage, reduce inflammation, and optimize health. Margaret, a 74-year-old with a 20-year history of inflammatory arthritis, found that this approach of positive replacements made all the difference in her ability to maintain the changes long-term. Previous attempts at changing my diet always failed because I focused only on what I couldn't have, she explained. This time, I concentrated on all the delicious, healing foods I could enjoy, and it completely changed my relationship with eating. Within 3 months of adopting this approach, Margaret reduced her pain medication by half. 6 months later, her inflammation markers were lower than they'd been in over a decade. My doctor asked what I was doing differently, she shared. When I told him about my dietary changes, he said, "Keep doing exactly what you're doing. It's working better than the medications." Can you envision how different your life could be if you experience similar improvements? Imagine waking up without pain, having the energy to pursue your passions, and enjoying an active, engaged lifestyle well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. This isn't a fantasy. It's the reality that becomes possible when you eliminate the foods that have been silently sabotaging your health and replace them with nourishing alternatives. You've now discovered the 3 most destructive foods that are likely contributing to your pain and inflammation after 50. You understand the science behind why these foods are so damaging. You've heard the stories of people who have transformed their health by eliminating them. And you've been given a simple 7-day challenge to experience the benefits firsthand. Now the choice is yours. Will you continue consuming the foods that are actively damaging your joints, accelerating the aging process, and diminishing your quality of life? Or will you take this simple step toward reclaiming your health, vitality, and independence? Imagine yourself 7 days from now, waking up with less stiffness, experiencing decreased pain throughout the day, and feeling a level of energy you haven't enjoyed in years. Imagine being able to engage in activities you've been avoiding, playing with grandchildren, gardening, traveling, dancing, without the fear of pain holding you back. Charles, a 77-year-old who eliminated these 3 inflammatory foods after decades of chronic pain, perhaps said it best. "I spent thousands of dollars and countless hours seeking relief through medications, procedures, and therapies. None of them gave me what this simple dietary change has provided. My only regret is that I didn't learn about this sooner. I can't get those years back, but I'm grateful for every pain-free day I have now." You deserve the same transformation. You deserve to live with vitality, comfort, and independence. You deserve to enjoy these years that should be among the most rewarding of your life. Will you accept the 7-day challenge? Will you commit to eliminating processed foods, refined sugar, and inflammatory oils for just 1 week to discover how much better you can feel? If you're ready to take this step, I invite you to make the commitment right now. Say to yourself, "I deserve to live without unnecessary pain. I commit to this 7-day challenge for my health and well-being." Then, take the simple action of removing these foods from your home, or at least moving them out of sight while you complete the challenge. Go shopping for the nourishing replacements we've discussed. Prepare your environment for success after completing the 7-day challenge. Come back and share your experience. Did you notice decreased pain, improved energy, better sleep, greater mobility? Your story could inspire someone else to take this important step toward healing. Remember, this isn't just about avoiding pain today. It's about preventing disability tomorrow. It's about ensuring that you can maintain your independence, enjoy your family and friends, and pursue your passions for many years to come. The power to transform your health is quite literally at the end of your fork. Will you use that power starting today? I believe in your ability to make this change. I've seen countless individuals in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond reclaim their health and vitality through these simple dietary adjustments. You can be one of those success stories. The famous Greek physician Hippocrates said, "Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food." After thousands of years, this wisdom remains profoundly true. The foods you choose to eat or avoid are among the most powerful determinants of your health, especially after 50. I encourage you to share this information with someone you care about who might also be suffering from unnecessary pain. The gift of this knowledge could change their life, as it has for so many others. Your journey to a pain-free, vibrant life begins with a single step: the decision to try this 7-day challenge. Will you take that step today? The choice is yours, and so is the extraordinary future that awaits on the other side of that choice.